So good morning again, everyone. We've got a nice crowd this morning. I really appreciate your taking the time to join for this brief update about the state of the school and the chance to ask some questions to engage a bit. Normally, we would be in the Chelsea Morrison Theater together, and it would be a packed house. And while I so wish that we were there this morning together, we will be again soon, and I'll take this. It's good to be with you. So as I said, my task is to share a brief update about the state of the school. As some of you heard earlier in my conversation with John, he will join us in a little bit, and we both look forward to answering some of your questions. In terms of the state of the school, I can summarize it in 7 words. Here, healthy, full, strong, well-positioned, and better. Let me go through those again. Here, healthy, full, strong, well-positioned, and better. Those are 7 words that really summarize the state of the school today, April 24th, 2021. And let me elaborate a little bit. First, we're here together, and we're just finishing our 3rd week back for the spring semester and our 22nd week total of in-person learning. We did 11 in the fall, 8 in the winter, and as I said, we're just finishing 3 of what will be 8 more this spring. We got 5 weeks to go until commencement, and 1 more week of classes for underformers after that. There are times when some of you have asked how this compares to a typical school year, a non-COVID school year. And in fact, we will have the exact number of class weeks that we have had in every other year for as long as I can remember, 28. Usually we add 2 weeks of exams and a week of a special program. It was intercession for a long time, and then it became risk. And we've taken those out of the program this year. We've also had 3 weeks of remote classes. So in fact, there will be more class time this year than in any other year. Typically, our school years are 31, 32 weeks long. Healthy. We're testing everyone once a week, and day students and faculty and staff who commute to campus twice a week, along with faculty and staff children age 5 and over. Thus far this spring, we've had 1 student positive on the first day, which resulted in just 1 close contact, that student's roommate, given our protocols at that time. And we've had 1 staff positive, 1 staff member. So it's 2. I think we've had under 10 students test positive since September. And I don't know about faculty and staff and their children, but it's been a low number. And we've worked really, really hard in our protocols to accomplish that. And you have partnered with us in that in remarkably important ways. We wouldn't be here without you. I think your children are telling you, at least they're telling us, that it feels much more like pre-COVID Millbrook. We moved to phase 3 by the end of the first week back this spring. Spring sports are in full swing. We had Spring Carnival last Sunday. We had an international food festival last night on Pulling Circle. The kids are on the quad and they're all over campus. And I hope that we can move from Zoom assembly to gathering outdoors for our twice weekly all school meeting soon. That's really what we've lost that has been the biggest challenge in terms of what makes Millbrook Millbrook. You know, we meet typically 5 times a week as a school: Monday mornings for assembly, Tuesdays for seated lunch with advisors, Thursday for chapel talks, followed by formal dinner, and Fridays for our longer assembly where we engage in what we call temperature check. We did have a cum laude ceremony, induction ceremony on Wednesday night with all the sixth form dressed and in the dining hall, and that was wonderful. And we plan to have more of those by form for the remainder of the school year to give the students a sense of what a formal dinner is together, what a seated meal is together. The full part, we have a full enrollment. Thanks to an extraordinary effort by Meg Grover and her admissions team, they produced just exceptional results. As I said, we're a very full school right now. And that is a result of Meg creating, again, with her team, a COVID admission process, creating it out of whole cloth. And a process that left each candidate and each family feeling known and needed. It required creativity, collaboration, exceptional commitment, and tireless effort, and a lot of support from you all, our parents. You've referred a number of families to us. You have followed up with those families. You have helped us to make them feel known and needed in the admissions process, to live Millbrook through that process. It was a record year in terms of applications. We were up by 20%, and it's been a record year in terms of enrollments. Again, we're up by 20%, and so we're in just terrific shape. I can't say enough good things. I can't praise Meg and her team enough for all they did to bring us to this place. We're strong financially. As part of our continued strategic planning and thinking at the board level, this year we pursued a credit rating with Standard & Poor's, led by Jeff Smith, our outstanding COO. It resulted in our achieving an A rating, which is outstanding, and probably even more impressive, praise from the folks at Standard & Poor's themselves and our accountants. And, you know, accountants don't give out praise all that often. Apologies to any of you who are accountants. But, you know, that's not their job to praise their clients. And in the meeting we had to review our rating and to have Standard & Poor's present it, they said, the progress you've made in your balance sheet and the school's financials and your financial strength has been exceptional. And not something we've seen in a lot of schools over the last 5 or 6 years. So we're really proud of that. I said well-positioned. So we're exceptionally well-positioned. No one is better prepared or suited to lead Millbrook for the next generation than John Downs. That's a fact. John went to Millbrook, was a 4-year student here, president of the school, a babysitter for our children, someone who I worked with closely then. No one's more ready or right to sustain and enhance those things that make Millbrook Millbrook. John has been acting head for 5 months. This has been part of a very thoughtful and carefully crafted transition plan, succession plan that the board and I engaged in around about my 25th year, when we agreed, much to my good fortune, that I would finish my career at Millbrook after 30, 31, 32 years. And the board wisely saw John as a strong candidate, asked me to work with John to keep him at school until my departure, which was easy to do. John on his side said, you know, I really want to run a school. I'd love to run Millbrook, but if that's not meant to be, I want to be in position to be a school head. Something, by the way, he said when he was a student here. And so we worked together to figure out how that would happen, and the board engaged, as I said, in a really thoughtful first search plan and then a selection plan. So the future is bright, the foundation is strong, and nothing could make me happier. So the last word I used was better. We are in better shape than anyone imagined 12 months ago. I remember vividly the conversations with various committees of our board, with the faculty, with the senior administrative team, with some parents, many parents, in fact, about where we were, where we might be come September, what this year might be like. And in none of our scenarios, and we run scenarios. Jeff Smith, his image is on the screen with his thumb up. That's Jeff, right? He gets it done. And so Jeff runs our planning models with our finance committee and other committees of the board. In none of the scenarios did we plan to be where we are today. And that made good sense. We were planning for the worst. We were planning for difficult times. We were planning for things we would have to do in the event of more bad news, more struggle, more challenges. But here we are. As I said, 22 weeks into a school year in place, with bright blue skies outside, with lacrosse and baseball games planned for this afternoon, a lot of outdoor activities, having just finished Earth Week at Millbrook, a fabulous week that involved outstanding speakers, a lot of activities, students out working for a couple hours on Thursday afternoon, doing all sorts of things on campus. So as I said, here we are at a place that I don't think anyone predicted. We fought for it. And a key element in all of that has been the trust with which you parents have had for us as a school. We've weathered some storms together. The re-entry in January wasn't easy. Yet we kept at it. And you continue to trust us. You continue to partner with us. You continue to give us critical feedback, which was especially helpful in the winter. Keep it coming, please. I can't predict what the next 5 to 6 weeks will be like, but looks good. The forecast is prospicious, as the founding head of Millbrook School, Edward Pulling, used to say. So with that, I think if John's managed to keep control of his 3 children while his wife, Erin, runs the ACTs this morning. Erin is a full-time member of our outstanding college counseling team. I'll turn over to him, but it doesn't look like he's here yet. So I'll turn to questions, which actually is the most, here he is. We'll see what John wants to add, and then he and I are really excited to answer whatever questions you have. So if you have them, please put them in the Q&A or in the chat. John, good to see you. I guess the kids are behaving, and you're muted, my friend.
Thank you, Drew. The kids are, no, they're not behaving. They're in the other room. I've locked the door, and they're on their own. So sometimes a little benign neglect is a good thing. I want to echo what you said, and just in terms of thanks to the parents. The partnership this year has really been extraordinary, and we feel really, really grateful to all of you for the trust that you've put in us, and especially, Drew said, critical feedback, even just some great ideas with how to run a boarding school amidst a global pandemic. Drew, how did the State of the School address feel for you? You know, this is 31 years of State of the School addresses at a variety of different occasions. Probably never imagined it over a Zoom call. How'd this one feel? Did you do a good job?
I was a little, I haven't done this that much. I was a little nervous. I was up early this morning getting ready. It feels great because I'm so proud of what we've accomplished, and also a lot of eyes are watching and correcting me. So Meg already has, forgive me. Meg put in the chat that apps were indeed up 20%. So I'm right about that, but wrong about enrollments. They're up by 30%. I'm happy to be corrected on that issue. So our yield is better than it ever has been. I'll add one thing that I'm also really proud of, and which defies all kind of all expectations. We have had the lowest attrition in my 31 years this year. Can't go home. Parents can't come to campus. Prediction, kids unhappy, don't want to deal with it. Nope. We have a great re-enrollment as well as it's one of the reasons why we have such a strong enrollment along with the fabulous work that Meg has done. So it felt good, John. And as I said, it feels really good to be on the screen with you and to, how many days? I know you and Jeff count the days, how many days I have left, but however many they are, I look forward to turning them over to you.
Well, thanks, Drew. I mean, it was interesting in the qualifications of the next head of school. It really wasn't about my professional development through graduate schools or my time as an English teacher or a dean of students or a director of admissions. It was about babysitting the Casertano children, which I will tell you, just among my greatest feats. And training grounds. So yeah, I really appreciate you sharing that with our parents. We do have some questions coming in, Drew, and I think a few layups here. The first is, well, I'll go in a variety of order here. Do you foresee any opportunity for outdoor sports spectators, even if limited to X number per player?
Yeah, working on it right now, and we have, as you've probably heard me say, a most outstanding medical advisory committee of 4 outstanding doctors, 2 Millbrook parents, a Millbrook graduate, and our own Caroline Salas-Humara. And you'll stay tuned. That will, I think when the calendar turns to May 1st, if not sooner, we will have spectators on campus, parent spectators.
Awesome. And then 2 people just wrote the same question. Should New York State regs and restrictions regarding number of people allowed to gather outside change? Might we consider inviting more than just the 2 parents to graduation?
Yes, we have to plan based on the information we have today, because it's a big undertaking that really does require a lot of preparation, ordering of tents and all sorts of other things. So if we can, we will. Yes, if we can do it safely, we will. John, I don't know that you saw the top question about vaccines, a question we've been asked many times. So our plan was to offer vaccines on campus, and we were hoping to offer the J&J vaccine, which of course would make a difference in how we can behave in the last half of this year. And then for good reason, medical professionals and then the governor of New York put a hold on that. That has been changed and it can be done again. We also were planning to partner with the Pine Plains School District. Pine Plains is just north of Millbrook, and to offer vaccines as well. I believe it's to students who are 16 and older. That will not be the J&J vaccine. It will be either Moderna or Pfizer, which means 2 shots. But we're even then hoping that we can get that done soon, the first shot soon, so we can get the second shot in by the end of the school year. So yes, that we want to get as many people vaccinated as we possibly can. And Jeff Smith just confirmed it's the Pfizer, and that's the plan.
And just a another way of answering kind of both of those questions. We still, our motto this year has been the words of Scott Rodeo: create a reasonable plan based upon the best scientific data, measure it day by day, week by week, and do not be afraid to change. So if there are different regulations that are put out by New York State in terms of gatherings, and we can make safe adjustments with graduation, we're going to do it. And then Mr. Yassino, your question about vaccines had an element to it for next year. Of course, anyone who reads any paper is seeing that many of the colleges and universities are now requiring the vaccine for students to be on campus. We're not there yet. We're going to watch this and monitor it. Quite a large percentage of our population can't even get a vaccine yet. So we're just going to wait for that information to come in and then make the best decision in terms of safety and normalcy. I will say, as the next head of school, didn't choose this profession to make sort of grand statements about what people put in their bodies. And so I want to wait for the doctor's advice, for the state regulation advice, and then we'll make the decision as we get closer to next fall.
We have, as a school, have used Scott Rodeo's principles to guide us. We've also used our own Dr. Salas Humara's statement about a healthy marriage of safety and normalcy, and constantly working towards that. And then John and I have introduced two other thoughts to decision-making in these COVID times. One, we were going to fight for what we could do. We would have to be told that we couldn't do it. And as long as it was a healthy marriage of safety and normalcy. And the second was we were going to wait as long as possible before making decisions. And that has really served us well in this pandemic. There were schools that pulled the plug on in-person learning much earlier than we did, that decided not to return to school in the fall much earlier than we did. We kept waiting until things became clearer, and our doctors were comfortable in saying, do this, yes. And then the other thing we've done well is said, well, can we do some of that, if not all of that? So a good example is, no, you cannot have 380 people in the dining hall for a seated meal. That's right. We have 320 students and 60 faculty, and that's what the dining hall holds. No, but you can have 118, I think it is, or 113. Now we can do it by form. And maybe every table doesn't have a faculty member added if it's the sixth form. And that, Jeff just typed in 114. So, we've been willing to do what we can do rather than not at all. So that's a precursor in some ways. Well, it informs you of what we rely on in making decisions. And John has been the architect of our COVID plan, as the chair of our Compass Committee. So, people often ask him, what's going to change, or what are you going to do? Well, I can tell you that's his thinking. We're going to fight, and we're going to wait until the time is right. So someone has asked, when will we return to a bed scheme for day students? That's one of the things that makes Millbrook Millbrook. We're proud of that. And it means we can operate as a boarding school and require that day students are on campus a number of evenings a week. Again, as soon as we can do that safely, as soon as our capacities and New York State and our doctors tell us we can do it, we will. Because as I said, it's one of the things that we think makes Millbrook Millbrook. John may have more to say about next fall.
Yeah, I think that two people asked that question, and one of the ways it was phrased is anytime soon. It depends on how one defines soon. Likely not going to happen this year in the next 7 weeks. So I wouldn't want to set up those expectations. But our intentions are that we return to the day student program in September. Obviously, there's a lot of variables there. that we have to weigh in. But our intention is to have a program as close to normal as possible when our students return after Labor Day next year or next fall.
And then Barbara Gatsky asked us to respond sixth form parents to join her for the sixth form parent meeting, which I think is right after this meeting, to discuss, in her words, everything about graduation. So John, I think that's it. And it's 10:28. And I think this was scheduled for 30 minutes.
Drew, I'll say this is one of the first webinars I've been a part of where the number just kept increasing as we went along. You know, normally I get a little insecure as the number maybe drops, and I wonder if people aren't finding anything that I say useful. But clearly, this was multiplying as we moved through. So congratulations to you on the state of this.
That's because they knew you were coming on after 15 or 20 minutes. So parents, if you haven't picked up on it, you know, we're the closest of friends that as I said, I think Millbrook is in the best of hands. John and Aaron are ready for this work. It shouldn't be lost on anyone that Aaron is working full-time on a Saturday morning when John is trying to help with Family Week, and such is life of a school head and his or her family. It certainly is such is life for the school head, for in this case, his family, now and going forward. I think we got one message. Oh, it's a very kind message about what we've done from a parent, plus asking if there will be events to say farewell and thank you to Linda and me. And that's up to John because he's in charge of that committee too.
Are we supposed to end at 10:30, Drew?
I think so.
So the short answer to that is we have a variety of ways that we're honoring Drew and Linda. You know the first one, which was to name Casertano Hall, and we have several other. Some will be surprises, some not through this spring, and then we have one major event next June, assuming we're returned to normalcy in a year's time, God willing, and I know we all want that. We'll do a kind of a big bash on campus for Drew, Linda, and the Casertano family that will coincide with our reunion weekend, and everyone will be invited. So,
all right, I think that's what we've got, John.
Okay. Well, thank you, everyone. Thanks for tuning in. Sixth form parents, please tune into Barbara Gatsky's session. A lot more details on graduation. And thank you all.
Thank you very much. Onward.